What is the food that you've eaten that conflicted you the most?
Monkey was challenging. Yeah, so you brought up monkey earlier. I went to hang out with the Hadzabe tribe earlier this year in Tanzania, and I think you've heard about the Hadzabe, right?
Yes.
Just for the people listening, the Hadzabe are, I think they're known as the last hunter-gatherers in Africa. Tanzania, the government there has an amazing program to help them keep living the lifestyle that they're living. There's maybe, I don't know, 3,000 to 5,000 still living the traditional way out there. They're usually in tribes of, let's say, 5 to 10, and they are obsessed with hunting. Everything is about hunting. And even when I asked, like, who's the chief here, or why is the chief, they say because he's the best hunter. And I'm like, really? Does anybody want to contest that? No. They're like, he's the best hunter, he's the chief, he makes the decisions. But of course, as I've seen with many tribes in Africa, they're very cooperative and they have ways of eating and working together that ensures that there are no fights or conflicts or reduces the amount that there might be. So when I was with them, I planned to go there for 3 days. I didn't even bring my crew. We had just shot 3 different countries back to back. We got COVID in the middle of it. And I told them to leave. I shot it on a phone and a camera, and I basically just shot it by myself. And usually we try to plan our videos out a lot, as much as we can, to be efficient with our time. But in this case, I can't say like, hey, let's go hunting, and then you guys will shoot a baboon with your arrow. I don't know what's going to happen. And when I show up at their camp, it's so far from anything. We were in a tiny town. We drove a couple of hours to the base of a mountain, and we hiked for another hour and a half to get to where they were. I get there, they bring out a vervet monkey. So it's this white monkey. It's the monkey I was talking about earlier that you could shoot for $40. It's that right there. So this guy...
And how do they hunt these?
By bow and arrow.
Wow.
And these guys are incredible because their hunting prowess is on a different level. And I joined them for a hunt one day, and it kicked my ass. I couldn't keep up. And so on this day, it's tough because I'm out of my element. I'm in a very new place. I'm trying to figure out how to broadcast my emotions to the camera. I don't want to be judgmental, but I'm not going to be like, oh, monkey, this is normal and cool.
Wow.
Yeah, so right here, I've just arrived. We've switched hats.
What are you wearing?
He handed me his hat. I gave him my hat. and he presented the monkey to me. And then
oh boy,
soon after this, they get to work. And
is that their primary game species that they hunt?
No, the pinnacle for them is a baboon. They love baboon.
Really?
And I was hoping to see that. One night they were like, tonight we're going for baboon. And we did the reconnaissance, like we did the scouting rather. And that night they all got high and went to sleep.
What do they get high on?
Yeah, I think they get weed from different villages. They try to trade with other tribes that are out there.
Really? They get high over there.
So I've seen, this is what I love about doing this show, is I've seen so many different tribes, stories, cultures around the world, and I just want to dig into that really specific food part. And so I've heard, who's that really cool artist?
David Cho?
Yes, David Cho.
Yeah.
He came here and he talked about the Hadzabe, and I heard about it from someone else too. A friend of mine, Mike, who has a YouTube channel called Fearless and Far, he went there before me, and I was like, this is incredible. He went there during the pandemic, and I was stuck in Vietnam for a year, and I was like, this is incredible. I want to do what you're doing. And so but I want to just do it through the food lens. What are you eating from day to night? How are you getting the food? How are you cooking it? The way they prepare it is, it's nothing about flavor. It is insane. So that monkey, let's break it down. They'll cut his stomach open, gut it, throw the guts in a tree. Then they throw the whole rest of the monkey in the fire. Just whole thing. Then they scrape a bit of the hair off, but not really. From there, they cut the arms and legs off. They throw that in the fire. Not on a stick or a grill, they just throw it in the fire. The guts, eventually, that gets fed to the dogs. Some of the bones, ribs, and stuff like that will get put in a pot and boiled, and that will make kind of a juice that they can soak up the ugali with, that kind of cornmeal and water. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that one right there. And from there, different people are given different parts of the animal. So some people are going to eat the arms. So I ate basically like a wrist and a hand. And
these people are going ham.
I saw this guy break open the skull, pour out the brain, and I guess this is when I was the most conflicted in a long time, because I was like, right now I could eat monkey brain, which is so Indiana Jones, which is such a wild thing to do. And I just said, Sonny, this moment's not about you. just you need to observe. You need to show people what they're doing, and this isn't your experience to have right now.
So it looks like they're cooking in a bunch of different ways. They took some of the meat and they chopped it up and put it into water in a bowl.
Yeah, in a pot. So they have a steel pot, and you'll recognize they do have certain modern things there. You know, the ugali that they get, it comes in big bags. Sometimes they have jeans, and it's because the government gives them some support.
That's what you're eating?
Yeah. So that is the arm and wrist of the monkey. You can see my face. I'm trying to process it. I'm trying to figure it out. And right here, I'm speculating as to whether or not that's what human tastes like, because that's what I was trying to figure out.
Probably pretty fucking similar. And so were they adding salt to that? Is that what they're doing?
Yeah. So salt is the only thing that they cook with that would actually give anything flavor. But for them, it's not about flavor at all. It felt like everything with this tribe had to do with hunting and hunting stories. You could really tell like these were the original storytellers. What I loved about going here is you hear people say, "Oh man, if I had a time machine, it'd be cool to see how people lived thousands of years ago." That's it.
Yeah.
That it's everywhere they walked, they could find food. They would see honey in a tree. They would pick berries. They would see sticks that they liked and cut them off. And then they would, when they hang out by the fire in the morning or night, they smoke cigarettes nonstop, and they bend the arrows with their teeth to get them straight because they look so perfect. It looks like, where'd you buy that from? No, I made it from a piece of wood. I know how to spot the wood. And they have different types of arrows too. So they have an arrow with poison on it that's meant for piercing a bigger animal. And I saw how they make the poison. They make it from a tree. They have this type of tree. They squeeze they kind of dig into it, get the pulp from the inside and squeeze it, and then cook that down. And then that, once it pierces an animal, will help kill it faster. They put it behind the head of the arrow. But then they also have arrows where it'll look like a wine cork at the end of the arrow. And that's for shooting little birds because you're not going to use the same tool. Then they'll have a little arrow with like a hook at the end. So that would be for some kind of a rodent that likes to go in rocks. So you hook it, and now you can pull it out when it tries to get away. So they have a whole arsenal of different arrows in their pack. And this is all these guys are about. It's just hunting, day and night hunting.